Hello and welcome to another episode of DudeCast TV. I'm your host, as always, Norman Dexter. So, today's a little bit different. I'm not dressed as a bum this time, and that leads me to the subject of today's podcast. I had an interview this morning, and it didn't go as planned. Now, that may make you think that I didn't perform well in the interview. Just the opposite. Performed very well. I would likely have been offered the job, but it wasn't a good fit for me. I'm going to go into why I say it wasn't a good fit for me. And it has a lot to do with what I'm calling today's podcast, personal agency. This phrase comes up a lot, and it can mean many different things. And to me, it just means remaining accountable for what makes you, you. And that matters to me. See, this morning when I went to this job interview, it was for something that I was a little skeptical of to begin with. I've been on several interviews over the last 6 months since graduating with my master's. And I've talked about that on this podcast, how I've put out all these job applications, right? And I've complained about how ridiculous it is that I've spent so much time and energy getting these degrees, these pieces of paper that I've been told my whole life will give me a stable and well-paid job. Haven't received that yet, but I'll get into that. So this morning I arrive early, dressed good and fresh, even got my hair cut to look spiffy, if you will, for the interview. Carried myself well, came in, and they took me, went through the interview. And the thing is, when I interview them as much as they interview me. Because the thing is, I'm in a unique position in my life where finances aren't really of concern to me. They are always an issue, of course. But I'm in a place where I can be afforded the opportunity to be, well, picky. I can pick and choose what works best for me. I don't have to accept the job because I need to make the money. Instead, I can say, I don't think this is a good fit. I don't think I'm going to be happy here. I don't think that I should devote my time to this company. And it's not just about whether or not it would work for me. The thing is, if it is not a good fit for me, then I'm not a good fit for them. Now, I may be able to fulfill the duties that they prescribe to me, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to do them to optimal capacity. I may fill a quota, I may do what they ask of me, but it doesn't mean I'm going to thrive in their business, which means inherently I won't thrive as their employee. And so it goes against my integrity to accept a job that I know I'm not going to be able to fully commit to have one foot out the door right from the get-go. Just doesn't feel right. So when I got home, I sent an email to the woman who interviewed me, and I said, thank you so much. After further review, I don't think this job fiscally makes sense for me to pursue, but also I don't feel like I could commit to the organization in a way that you would deserve in an employee. So while I enjoyed our conversation, and it seems that you've made a wonderful and quality work environment for your employees, to which I took a moment, by the way, in this email, to emphasize that she really did attract me to the company, because when she called me after I sent in the application, it was speaking to her that had me more interested in the job than the initial job description. And that matters. She, like me, used to work in these big box gyms, LA Fitness, Urban Active, Gold's Gym, Bally's, etc. And she knew what it would be like if you had a jaded existence of living under a corporate thumb. So she knew what bad management looked like. So she ensured that she developed a team, not a bunch of peasants to do your bidding. You know what I mean? Not these corporate peons to just do the grunt work. And I made sure to tell her that I value that in her, and that In the future, if another opportunity presented itself, I would like to remain open to those possibilities, whether it's her working with me working with her, something completely unrelated to her job or what I'm doing, whatever. I like what she brought to the table, just like she seemed to like what I brought to the table. Now, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten the job. Maybe that's presumptuous of me. I'm not sure. But I know that I could have done this job. I could have been very good at it. But my heart wasn't in it, so I chose not to. And there are more reasons than that, but I'm not going to get into those because, again, just because it wasn't a good fit doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and shit all over the company. Okay? So, what does this have to do with personal agency? Well, personal agency to me is taking responsibility of your own life, the good and the bad. And that means there's a certain amount of guidance that we receive in our lives. Obviously, as children, we're taught to do this and that. And our parents, our teachers, our peers, they say, well, you should do this. This is how you'll make a good living. You should do this. This will make you happy. This will make you successful, yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, there's the self-help gurus like Tony Robbins or Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V as he's more well known. And a few others, Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Eric Thomas, the hip-hop preacher, Les Brown, and a few others, right? And, I say those names and quotes come to mind, right? I think Gary Vaynerchuk is probably the most prominent right now, Gary V. And, Gary's an interesting case because Gary, he produces content for free. Okay, now he'll go and speak at events that he'll get paid for, but he's always been one of these people that will put content out there free of charge because he wants to impact people in the best way that he can. And he's very aware of what he's doing because he always used to say something along the lines of hustle harder, work harder, you can rest when you're dead type deal. Now, he didn't say you can rest when you're dead. He didn't say that. But the idea was hard work is the only thing that matters. Fuck your feelings. Fuck your happiness. Hard work is the only thing that matters. And he saw people who did that and were miserable after the fact. They became successful by every societal metric, but they were miserable. And he rolled that back saying, listen, it's not so much about hustle. It's about hustle and passion. Now, I'll push back on that myself. Passion is not the key. Just like I've said many times before on this podcast and in person with friends and family, motivation is bullshit. Because let's take that word apart, motivation. Motivation is nothing but something that provides you a motive. So you want to lose weight, okay? What is your motive there? Your motive is to lose weight. Why? Maybe you want to be healthier. Maybe you want to look better. Whatever it is, that's a motive. That's all it is. It's a reason to do something. Motivation is not what keeps you going. No, that's discipline. And that is something I have talked about at length in these podcasts that I've been posting. Not going to get into that there. But again, motivation is bullshit. And that's where personal agency comes in. To fulfill your own needs. To explore your own needs so that you may be made aware of what it is that you actually need. And now I absolutely must explain what I mean here. I say that. I say, explore your own needs so that you may be made aware of what it is that you actually need. And you're sitting there, what the fuck? Of course I know what I need. I need money. I need a love life. I need this, that, and that. Hang on. Take a second. Think about this. Is it what you need? Or is it what you've been told you need? Is it that stable job your parents told you would provide security in your life that you needed? Or that degree that society as a whole has told you that you need to get a good job, to have a stable income? Or that you need to find a partner to get married and have kids with? Is that what you need? Are you sure? I was talking with a friend of mine the other day. I asked him, I said, so out of anybody in the world, who has the biggest balls? Meaning, who is the most brave and courageous person out there or group of people out there? And he answered with something like Navy SEALs or Special Forces or something like that, right? I'm like, no. Someone else. Someone not military oriented. I'm not talking about physical, ballsy actions. I'm talking about someone who declares something of themselves. And he thought about it, he couldn't think of anything. And I said, a gay man coming out of the closet. Think about that. In society, as a man, as a boy, you are told what being a man is, what being masculine is. To be attracted to and love another man, as a man, is one of the most horrifically frowned upon things I can imagine in our current society. Now, it's getting better. With the LGBTQ community, it's getting much better. Awareness has risen. It's becoming this societally acceptable thing. However, it is still this thing that causes many people in the community great shame. Now, I am speaking from personal experience. I am not a gay man. However, the thought of me, if I were a gay man, to come out as gay, yet still somehow be assertive and masculine in that same notion, it conflicts. But I know plenty of gay men who are masculine and assertive and just as much of a man as I am. And to me, for them to come out and remain confident in themselves as a man, even though they're gay, that's astonishing to me. That level of confidence, that level of personal agency, it makes a difference. They became aware of their need to love another man in their life. They became aware of that. And they sought out that need in the world. That takes fucking balls. Whether you're a man or woman, it takes balls to do that. To assert your needs into this world. That means something. And so when you assert your own needs and your own actions to those needs, whether it's good or bad, you will live a better life. I've said many times, meaningful suffering is the cost of entry to a fulfilling life. And you get to choose whether or not your suffering has meaning. So, how does that fit in? Well, let's use this gay man coming out of the closet analogy again. You could do what you are told you're needed to do. Find a wife, as a man. Find a wife. Get married. Have kids. Live your life. Or, find out you're gay. And you can keep that a secret. And you can keep that to yourself. And you can deal with the shame and the suffering. And just take it on the chin and live the life you're supposed to live as a man. Be the provider. Be the husband. The father. Or, you can do all of those things with your male partner. You come out of that closet and you do exactly the same thing, but with a male partner. One change. One change. Seems simple. Sounds easy. It's anything but. It's fucking ballsy. But it is true to yourself. You became aware of what you needed. And you asserted yourself into the world. You acted upon that need. And you fulfilled it. Now, the shame that comes with that, it may be self-imposed. It may be imposed upon you by friends and family. I don't know. The situation's not mine. But there's a certain amount of suffering that can come from that. And if you choose to do nothing, there's a certain amount of suffering that comes with that too. Because if you become aware of the fact that you have this need and you don't go out into the world and assert that you need to fulfill that need, there's a lot of suffering to go with that too. And I guarantee you there's a lot of religious people that will see that suffering as religious fulfillment, that they are not indulging in that need. And that is fulfilling to them because they are doing what they are supposed to as their religion dictates. And again, that is okay. That is not my decision to make. It is not my life being lived. So if you're gay and you think, okay, this is sinful, this is something I do not agree with, because of my religion, I need to keep this to myself. If that is your decision, it is not my place to tell you how to live your life. I accept all people for who they are and what they believe in. Just because you believe something different than me does not make me an enemy or somebody who will sit here and tell you what you should do. I am just telling you what I think. And I hope that it makes you think and reconsider what you're doing so that you can make the best decision for yourself. Because that's what personal agency is all about. It's figuring out what you have to work with in your life and making the decisions, sometimes the really hard decisions, to better yourself and lead a more fulfilling life. You'll engage in suffering no matter what you do. Whether you do nothing or everything or somewhere in between, you will suffer. Life is suffering. It's up to you to apply that meaning. And maybe, just maybe, you'll lead a fulfilling life because of it. When you do this, you cannot blame others. You cannot do it. Because if you do, it directly works against what personal agency means. Because personal agency is personal. It's you. It's no one else. It's not this person's fault or that person's fault. It's not your mom or your dad's fault. Now, they may have produced circumstances in your life, but it's your decision whether or not it affects you. If your parents, for instance, are not supportive of whatever choices you're making in your life, you decide whether or not they are hindering you and whether or not they should still be in your life. That whole blood is thicker than water thing, that's horseshit. Blood means nothing. I have friends and I have family. I'm close to some, closer to others. But I guarantee you, in my situation, if there is a malignant person in my life, I will not let them affect me, and I will not blame them for any misfortune they bring upon me, because guess what? Any misery that those people bring into your life, you allow them to bring into your life. As an adult, you choose who is in your life actively. So to blame somebody for something that happened to you, you're just hiding from your own actions. You choose who's in your life. You choose who you interact with. And so, again, if you're blaming someone else for your problems, that's not personal agency. That's not taking responsibility in your own life. And you're going to have a bad time because, spoiler alert, you can't control anybody but yourself. Which, I have a note here about that too, because jealousy, envy, that shit, that is little dick energy. Okay? We all have insecurities. Okay? We all have insecurities. You have to own that shit. Again, you can't go blaming other people for their decisions. Your significant other likes somebody's post and you get jealous. That's not on them, that's on you. You don't even know what they liked about it. Maybe they liked the t-shirt the person was wearing. Maybe they liked the dog in the picture. You don't know. Don't make that assumption. Talk to them. Be open about it. Be like, listen, hey, that kind of gave me some feelings about what you did there. Can we talk about that? Work through the insecurities. Don't just assume things, bottle it up, and wait to blow up later on your partner. That's not right. That's on you, not on them. I've been in several relationships wherein, I'm a personal trainer. I work with predominantly women. Okay? It's the demographic. Personal trainers mostly work with women. And guess what? I get it. There's a trope. There's a trope that trainers will sleep with their clients, and you're absolutely correct. It's a very real thing. I work actively to make sure that that doesn't happen. And if a client shows interest, I tell them, listen, I'm sorry. If we can't keep this professional, I'm going to have to stop training you. And in 2 cases, I've had to do that in the past. Many times in the past, I have had a girlfriend who was extraordinarily insecure with the fact that I was training female clients, particularly if they were very attractive female clients. There's 2 instances I can think of off the top of my head where they told me they were insecure about the fact that I trained female clients. Now, one of them just expressed that to me, and I was able to reaffirm and reassure them in that moment, and we were fine. No issues. The other one, she told me that after the fact, after she broke up with me because she couldn't handle it. She told me that was one of the reasons she left. She couldn't deal with the fact that I had so many beautiful women around me all the time, which I don't. That was the assumption she made after seeing one picture of one of my clients. She just thought that all my clients looked like that one client and that I was just with them all the day, watching them squat, watching them lunge, watching them bend over, when it's literally my job to do so. Is that my fault? No. She made that assumption, and she made that perception her reality. She projected those feelings and that resentment onto me and ended the relationship because of that. Now, I don't hate her for that. I don't blame her for that. That was her choice, and things didn't work out because of that, and that's okay. Each person has to take responsibility for their own emotions, their own actions. That is what personal agency means. And the sooner you understand that, the more effectively you'll be able to combat problems in your life. I promise you. And this is why I find characters like Gary Vaynerchuk and all these other gurus, if you will, I find them disingenuous, if you will. Because to me, those gurus, they're very much like Tyler Durden from Fight Club. See, in Fight Club, there's this perception of what an alpha male is, what a leader is, and what it's like to be a follower. So, in Fight Club, Tyler Durden, he loses his individuality as a leader, while his followers, attracted by their desire to be free and independent, become these space monkeys, as they're referred to, that lose their uniqueness. So what made Tyler unique was that he had personal agency. He was doing what he wanted into the world, and he was asserting himself into the world to fulfill his needs. As soon as he started taking on followers, he lost that individuality because he started doing what every other leader does, leading. He was the leader of a group, Project Mayhem. And he lost his individuality in that moment. Came just like any other organizational leader, be it culty or not. And his followers, who were attracted to Fight Club to begin with because they wanted freedom, they had the desire to be free and independent and become something more, acquire personal agency, which they had at first. That's what Fight Club was all about. It was about expressing yourself, asserting your needs into the world, displaying your frustrations, getting them out in the Fight Club, right? Well, when they started engaging in Project Mayhem, They became space monkeys. They lost their individuality when they became followers. And that's a problem. You know, I don't need someone like Gary Vee to tell me what I should be doing. See, he's just a reminder of what I'm already doing. These self-help gurus, they're just, all they are they're just guides. That's all they are. They are suggestions like, hey, does this apply to you? Okay, well, here's your reminder that this is probably something you're doing correct. Okay, cool, thanks. I see these people that will travel thousands of miles to go to these events, to go to these conferences, pay thousands of dollars to go see Tony Robbins and work with him, for him to tell them exactly what they already know, what they should be doing every day, the disciplines they should be implementing in their life. These people tell you what you already know, but for whatever reason, you're not doing it. Every speaker you hear, from Eric Thomas to Jocko Willink, at some point, it should no longer be motivational or inspiring because they should be describing your current practices. They should be describing things you're already doing. Displaying your own personal agency is not following these people. It's doing the things that you want to be doing. It's following through to achieve whatever it is you're seeking to achieve by doing the bullshit you know you need to be doing. Not reading your 13th self-help book. Not going to your 14th seminar. Not going on their AMAs and asking them questions on Instagram. Like, when you ask somebody a question, you already know the answer most of the time. You know, when you ask somebody about a stock or Bitcoin or whatever, you already know the answer. You're just looking for somebody to reaffirm what your answer is. Because if you don't like the answer they give, guess what? You're just going to keep thinking the same thing you were beforehand. Now, if you really idolize that person, maybe they'll change your mind, but that's about it. You can't... Why am I making this video about personal agency? Because my whole life, I've been expected to climb certain ladders. The success ladder. Go to school, work hard, study hard, do well in school, graduate, get that job and that stability, and that health insurance and those retirement benefits. That's what I was told. Same thing with relationships. Be good to your partner, in my case a woman. Be good to her, and you'll do well. Be good to her, give her your all, give her your love. Get that first kiss. Get that first I love you. Have sex. Live together. Get married. Have kids. Happily ever after, right? Climb that ladder. That's how it goes, right? I don't know if that's how it goes. For me. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I've been back and forth on this a lot in my life personally. I don't know what my religious beliefs are, for instance. In my early 20s, I renounced my faith as a Catholic and became an atheist. And then later on, now I'm 28, about the age of 25, 26, I started becoming a little bit more spiritual, and I don't really know what that means even still. I've been to several different sermons at several different religious places of worship, but I mean, there's stuff that vaguely relates and has attracted me to it, but as soon as I get closer, I see something that completely turns me off to it. And I accept responsibility for the fact that these are my choices. I'm not blaming anybody for my own indecision here. These are things that I take seriously. I'm not just somebody to go, oh, I believe in this. That's my thing. If I say believe in something, I mean it. Like what I said earlier about meaningful suffering. I believe that meaningful suffering is the cost of entry to a fulfilling life. And so I will impart very specific challenges onto myself, and they're going to suck. There's a lot of pain involved in some of the decisions I've made, and that's okay, because I believe that at the other end of it will be fulfillment. I could just go out and get a job, any job in the world. There are a multitude of sales representative jobs in big pharma and medical sales I could take right now. I'd do just fine, and I'd make $250,000 a year, no fucking problem. Except for, I'd want to fucking hang myself. I'd rather chew Tide Pods and swallow bleach than do that. My decision. My life. Personal fucking agency. It makes a difference. And I don't expect anyone listening to me rant about this to just change like that. That's not my point in doing this. The point of this podcast is entertainment. And lately I've been giving a lot of lifestyle shit. My hope is that the stories that I give and the points that I posit get you thinking. I hope that in me bringing up these points, these unconventional, non-traditional points, that maybe it'll turn you on to an idea that's been in the back of your mind for years or even decades. And maybe hearing about it from someone else telling you, hey man, maybe that's the thing you should be striving toward. It really is. Maybe that's the thing. That's that one thing. It could be anything. It could be you were raised in a certain religion, but you believe in another religion. It could be you were raised to think that you were straight, but really you're bisexual, or you're straight, but really you're gay or lesbian or whatever. Maybe you're trans. Maybe you're queer. Maybe you're gender fluid. Maybe you are heteroflexible. Maybe you are kinky. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're really vanilla. And that's okay. All of those things are okay. I need you to understand, whatever you want, you're worthy. You're worthwhile. You have value. You have worth. You matter. And whatever desires that you have do not affect that. I'm 28 years old. And for 27 years of my life, I related. There's a song by an artist named NF called Hate Myself. And it's my favorite song by that artist. Because that song is so heavily relatable to me. Suicidal thoughts come and go like guests to me. But I don't want to die. I just want to get relief. That line in that song hits me every time I hear it. Because for so many years, I didn't think I was deserving of love or happiness. I don't know why. I can't explain to you why I felt this way. I had plenty of love. I had plenty of happiness in my life. But for whatever reason, I didn't see myself as worthy or worthwhile. I did not have self-worth for the first 27 years of my 28 years on this planet. Now, many of you watching this may be friends of mine who had no idea I felt that way. That for years I struggled with my own mental health about whether or not I deserved to be happy, that I deserved to be loved and cared for. And it had to do with my own wants and desires. That I had to curb those, filter those, and not be myself, because that's not acceptable. I had to be normal. I couldn't be Norman. Because Norman's not acceptable. Norman means this desire, this need, that want. And we can't have those. That's not normal. We can't have that. And the amount of shame I felt for having those thoughts, those desires, those wants, those needs. The shame that was imparted upon me by myself prevented me from being who I truly was. Very recently, these last few months, I have fallen into who I really am more so than I ever have before. I know my worth now, but it doesn't mean it sticks around. It is a constant struggle. It is a constant struggle going back and forth to understand that, yes, I have worth. Yes, I have value. It's always a struggle. Life is suffering. You have to find the meaning in it, or it will bury you. There's a song by the Woodkid called Run Boy Run. And this song means a lot to me because of the music video that goes with it. And the music video is a little boy in a schoolboy's outfit in the dark. And he starts running. And he's running, and he's running, and he's running. And there are these monsters that are popping out of the ground. The monsters pop out of the ground and start chasing after him, so he runs faster. Now, I'm going to break this down in terms of what this means as a metaphor in my life. I am the boy. I am running. I'm in the darkness. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just a boy. I don't know any better. I know I'm supposed to run because I'm scared. I'm told, you need to run. The world's a dark and terrible place, and you got to run toward these things. So that's me as a boy being told, you need to go do this in school. You need to go do this for a job. You need to go do this for your significant other and your romantic partnerships. Get married, have a family, all those things. These are your expectations. Go to that. You'll be safe. You'll be safe from the darkness if you do that. So I run. I run with the hopes that if I do what I'm told, I'll be safe. Because this darkness surrounding me is terrifying. It's so scary. It instills these base levels of fear in me that I can't be here. It's not safe. I don't feel well. I need to get out. And so I run. And then I see these monsters. And I see these monsters chasing after me. It scares me even more. What are the monsters? The monsters are my desires, my wants, my needs. That as I grow older, as I go from a boy to a teenager to a man, the monsters grow more in number because I become more and more aware of my needs and my desires as a man. And the monsters grow in number, they get faster, and they're chasing me harder and harder the older I get because I can't ignore them any longer. They are there. And then, in my pursuit of these goals I'm told I'm supposed to have, climbing this ladder of success I'm supposed to be climbing, I trip and I fall, and the monsters get me. My desires, the awareness of what I need and want in life, all come at me at once. When I hit that rock bottom and I fall off that ladder, and those wants and those desires, they finally reach me. The monsters in the music video of this song that I'm referring to, they catch me. And what happens in the song? What happens in this music video? The monsters pick up the boy and they push him along. They help him. They show him the darkness has something valuable to offer him. The darkness and the monsters, as scary as they are, as fear-inducing as they are there to help you. They're there to show you the way, to give you tools as the song continues and the boy continues running with the monsters aiding him, encouraging and supporting him on. They give him a shield, they give him a sword, a helmet, and he leaps into the heavens. And he's happy. The monsters have become his friends. And they support him. And they grow in number even still as he continues running. But now there's a light. He sees a city. The monsters have prepared the boy for this city, the life ahead, the life as a man. The monsters helped him there. Not that fucking ladder. Okay? Not those goddamn expectations that have been thrust upon him his whole fucking life. The monsters. His deepest desires, wants, and needs. As scary as they are, as unacceptable as they may seem, they helped him become a man who could be confident in himself in this dark and terrifying world. They gave him the tools he needed to assert himself into the world and act upon those needs, to lead a fulfilling life, to give meaning to his suffering. The music video always makes me emotional. Because as a man growing up in this world, you are told so many things, but not in so many words. We are silently encouraged to be one way when we might be another. And this is why I believe that personal agency is the key to unlocking who you really are and bringing meaning to the suffering that you will experience in this life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I hope that something I've said today can give you the courage to make an effective change in your life. You don't have to do what I'm doing. That's for me. Figure out what you need, and then do that shit. Take responsibility for yourself and the change that you want to see in this world. It starts with you. Make the shift. I have faith that you can do it. And remember, you will stumble and you will fall and you will suffer. But again, let the monsters guide you in the darkness. Let your desires, your wants, your needs, let them give you the tools that you need to assert yourself into this world. You'll be better for it. I promise. Thank you for watching and listening. Once again, Norman Dexter, signing off for another episode of DudeCast TV. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.